lap traffic that time. 20 laps in the books and 10 to go. Tui will show the way, and it looks like it's about a furlong moving into turns 3 and 4.
Well put, Frank Scott. Scott Tui ride is running superbly tonight as he's got enough horses, it looks like, although Chuck Winders is now starting to gamble, and he shoots around the outside of lap traffic, and Chuck Winders takes over the number 2 spot as Charlie Pierce and Bill Bird got together.
Pierce collided with Chuck Barnes as well in between turns 1 and 2. A Bird's car sitting stalled on the inside portion of the racetrack could bring out the caution flag at lap number 22. Our flagman now pointing over in the turn, and it looks like Charlie Pierce is back in the pit area, possibly a cut-down tire on that machine. Less than 8 laps to go. Bill Bird spins his car back around in the first and second turn, and it looks like they remain green flag racing.
Well, they were ready to throw the yellow, and Bird got it going again, so it works out. Everybody's through smooth, and I'll tell you who's the happiest guy in the place right now. Scott Tui. Well, he was happy until Reed Boone almost got loose in front of him, but with that yellow not coming out, Tui keeps his very large lead, an entire straightaway over Chuck Winders.
Okay, 24 in the books, less than 6 to go. Scott Tui in car number 38 with the Churchill Downs sponsorship on the ride. The Auburndale Auto Parts and Machine engine under the hood and the Bud Tui Auto Body repair paint job on it. The green and white shows the way down into turns 1 and 2. Running at second now, it's Chuck Winders in car number 8 in his McDonald's Restaurants. Craig and Landreth Cars Racing Chevrolet Camaro. Chuck Barnes in the number 5 currently goes at third in his Robert Hobart Trucking Company, Rental Uniform Company, and Bibby's Barbecue sponsored Chevrolet Camaro. He'll pull up side by side with Chuck Winders and just take that spot away as they move out of turn number 2, and it looks as though maybe Winders' car might be losing power.
Boy, and look at Barnes. Barnes is very impressive tonight. Unless something happens to Tui, he's not going to win it, but certainly look out. Reed Boone spins in front of everybody and collects Chuck Barnes.
Man, oh man. And it's the number 79 of Reed Boone's machine sitting crossways here in the middle of the front straightaway. Excuse me, that is not, that's Gary Morris's machine, the number 79. The number 29 of Reed Boone colliding first of all with them. It looked like everyone nearly got around that accident, but then Chuck Barnes, who it looked like he had Chuck Winders covered coming out of turn number 4, found Reed Boone's machine on the front straightaway.
As they say, that's racing, and Chuck Barnes will be the first to tell you, but what a bad break. Running superbly, picking up ground. Had come from way back in the field into the number 2 spot, and then bang, to have that happen to him as he almost got around the spinning car of Reed Boone, and bang, got caught right there at the end. Bad break for Chuck, but Barnes will get it back together and be back. You can count on that. Now, what's the caution going to do? Well, Tui still has several lap cars between himself and Chuck Winders. He's looking like he's in pretty good shape, but there's a long way to go in terms of racing. 2 laps on this track.
Once again, the field gets double stacked into turns 1 and 2. 27 laps has been completed. Your leader is car number 38, Scott Tui, a very likable fella from right around here in Louisville, Kentucky, showing the way, the green and white colors of Churchill Downs. Running at second, it's the number 8 of Chuck Winders, the 1989 late model champion here at Louisville Motor Speedway. And for 3 years in a row, Chuck Winders has been voted the most popular driver in the Winston Bush late model division.
That's got to bother the sportsman guys, too, because now Chuck's going to be eligible for the most popular driver award in the sportsman division. But with this kind of quality competition, that's going to be a great race, even in the most popular driver balloting. And we'll start that up in about a month. We'll do, again, 6 nights over the course of the year to take your fans' votes for the most popular driver. And I'll tell you, there is the only award more prestigious, these guys will tell you, is winning that season championship. And Chuck is very proud to be the 3-time holder of the Winston Bush Late Model Most Popular Driver Award. He keeps us going. We're going to name the award after him down the road somewhere.
Okay, well, let's name a feature event winner here. We got 3 laps to do it in. Car number 38, Scott Tui, pacing the field. Tom Gray, not on the lead lap, will be starting up on the outside of him. The green flag comes back out, and Tui's off into turns 1 and 2. Bill Bird in car number 21 trying to make a position change as they move down the back straightaway on the number 40. Chuck Winders has got 5 tough race cars in front of him, and he's going to have 4 here very shortly because Gary Ott just spun. He gets collected by the 44 of Joe Lewis. That was a brand new race car. Pastor Ron Lasley in car number 10 has torn up the right front of his machine as well.
All right, now Scott's got to watch out, and if he sees this and can get around, they're on their feet in the VIP suite as Scott Tui comes underneath, but they're going to come across on the yellow. So I guess we're going to hold it lap number 29. So that's the call there, the yellow coming out, and I guess they'll hold it at lap 29. As Scott had come around, the yellow is ruled to be out on the lap before. They're going to have to go 1 more, apparently.
Okay, and as our TV cameras zoom in on that prestigious VIP suite, full of our friends from Churchill Downs. They're on television right now. Our TV camera is mounted on top the press box here at the Speedway, and our camera operator and production engineer for our weekly television program, Carl Blanton, at the keyboards of that television equipment. And we're under caution here. 29 laps now completed. Scott Toohey's got a few more moments before he takes that checkered flag. Car number 44, Joe Lewis, his machine torn up in the four-turn area of the racetrack. That is a brand-new car just recently constructed at Pro Crafters Race Car Parts and Fabrications. The 33 of Gary Ott securing new sponsorship from Canola Cream this year. His car also fallen victim to an accident there in the four-turn area. So we're under caution at the track of the 90s, Louisville Motor Speedway. Scott Toohey in car number 38 is the leader. He'll line up along the inside of the lapped automobile of Tom Gray in the number 40, fine driver out of Linden, Kentucky. Bill Burton, the number 21, moving up out of the Oval Bomber division as well. All in the lineup here. Chuck Winders in the number 8. He's the second place automobile as they come out of turn number 4 to the green flag. Green flag's out, we're racing, and they're back into turns 1 and 2. Scott Toohey breaks free from the rest of the field and scoots down the back stretch. Chuck Winders now going to work on the number 17 of Bill Wallace, scooting out of turn number 4, but the white flag comes out signaling 1 lap to go. It's a clear racetrack in front of Scott Toohey. Out of turn number 2, Toohey opens up about a half a straightaway advantage over the rest of the field. Into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Scott Toohey will bring the green and white colors of Churchill Downs to victory lane. The number 8 of Chuck Winders across the line at second. Due to the scoring shuffle there, we do not have the rest of the official positions. We can tell you that Chuck Winders was across the line at second. The number 38 of Scott Toohey, the winner. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, and he's got a VIP suite full of people from Churchill Downs. The car is also sponsored by Auburndale Auto Parts and Machine and Bud Toohey's Auto Body Repair, but Churchill Downs has got the big ad on the side of it there, and he'll go over to victory lane here, collecting the first feature win of the 1991 racing season, and he took that one home by a couple of furlongs tonight.
Not just yet. I just want to get the line open and get it ready.
Yes.
Johnson brothers, they are something else indeed. Ranking was very much his liking this division.
Trouble at the intersection. One car involved. It was the X34 colliding there with one of the front-running cars. That was Kenny Lapp getting involved there. And I tell you what, it looks like it may bring out a early caution flag period here as his car sits solidly stalled as Larry Holbert now has spun his automobile up in the third turn area of the racetrack. Charlie Hart's now connecting with the number X169 of Jim Renfro at the intersection, and it's a mad scramble back to the caution flag. This all happening at lap number 3 of the contest. Again, it looks like at least 6 cars were involved in a minor altercation there at the intersection. Frank Scott here along with Dean Taylor in the press box here at Louisville Motor Speedway, broadcasting live on WTMT 62 on your AM dial. And tell you what, Dean, Scott Toohey will be joining us here in the announce booth here very shortly, but already a near disaster after only 3 laps of competition here this evening.
Yeah, this is definitely the wild and woolly division here at the Louisville Motor Speedway, and it's
0 of Raymond Johnson now comes up to second place. He's about 4 car lengths behind. And then the number 56 of Bill Riley Jr. currently goes at third. Tom Winters to fourth, and Bobby Johnson rounds out the top 5 as they collect and put lap number 5 on the board. Car number X2, Buck Skaggs, continuing the lead, and it's every bit of about 4 car lengths. But Buck is meeting the X79 at the intersection, Greg Witt. And I tell you what, I believe we're going to be in for a scary moment here. Let's see here. Skaggs down through the intersection. He misses Witt at the intersection, but then Raymond Johnson now will have to do battle with Witt for claiming rights to that intersection on the next lap. Out of turn number 2 and down through the intersection, Witt gets through the intersection ahead of Raymond Johnson. The third place running car, Bill Riley Jr. And then it's a fine battle for fourth now between the X88 of Tom Winters and the number 00 of Bobby Johnson as those cars come out of turn number 4 and collect lap number 7.
When it comes to that intersection, it's definitely first come, first serve as Buck Skaggs makes his way through there. Once again, hot on his tail is Raymond Johnson as we have 7 laps complete in this event.
And it's a 25-lap contest. It'll be Buck Skaggs out of turn number 4, down through the intersection, and gets very, very close there with the number 40 of Philip Radford. Again, for those of you listening on WTMT 62 Country tonight, it's about a 4-car length separation between first and second place. The number X77 now of Danny Blackwell spinning in the 4-turn area. He gets the car back around and remains on the lead lap. So it looks like just about all the cars out there are still on the lead lap. Buck Skaggs, the leader into turns 1 and 2. The number 0 of Raymond Johnson currently runs at second. Bobby Johnson goes third. And Chuck Barnes in the X5 now up to 4th place. And then rounding out the top 5, the fine driver out of Shively, Kentucky, Tom Winters. Winters has a fine battle with the X27 now of Rick Hine out of Highview, Kentucky, as those 2 cars run side by side into turns 3 and 4. Again, sweeping out of turn number 4 and down through the intersection, Bobby Johnson gets very, very close with the number 169 of Jim Renfro. Hood coming off 1 car. He's dragging it and now stopping at the intersection. That's Jeff Robertson, the number 86. He gets his car back underway. Danny Blackwell trading some paint with the 169 of Jim Renfro. Both of those cars involved in some minor altercations earlier in the event. 11 laps complete here tonight at Louisville Motor Speedway as Rick Hine now spins his machine up in the 4-turn area of the racetrack.
Want to remind our fans that this is going to be the first of many feature races coming to you this season on WTMT, being brought to you by Collins Chevrolet and Busch, the official beer of NASCAR.
They continue to circle the Louisville Motor Speedway. 1 car goes for a loop right into turn number 1, and it's car number 169. He spins innocently down to the infield. Everyone avoids him, but it brings out the caution flag. The yellow flag coming out on lap number 12 of tonight's AutoWorks Figure 8 feature event. We'll take a break in the action at the track of the 90s, Louisville Motor Speedway. Again, let's set the field for you now. 13 laps posted up on the board. Buck Skaggs, the early leader, the number 0 of Raymond Johnson running at second. Going third now, it's the 00 of Bobby Johnson. Then at 4th, it's the number 5 of Chuck Barnes. And then rounding out that top 5, Tom Winters, the wily old veteran. The field moves down into turns 3 and 4, set for the green flag. Buck Skaggs of Fairdale, Kentucky, and Crescent Hill, Kentucky's Raymond Johnson lead them down. The green flag is back out. We're racing at the track of the 90s, Louisville Motor Speedway. 14 laps now quickly posted up on the board. The field moves over to turn number 2. Buck Skaggs will lead the field down through the intersection. A side-by-side battle for second now between the 2 brothers, the number 0 of Raymond Johnson and Bobby Johnson. They are side-by-side as they kick it over to turn number 4. We'll score lap number 14 now. The scoreboard now changed back to lap 13 as they move into turns 1 and 2. So it looks like officially we have 13 laps completed. The number 2 of Buck Skaggs out front. Bobby Johnson, not a lot of attendance here at Louisville Motor Speedway through the years, but it looks like he's getting 1991 off to a good start. And maybe we'll see more of him in the Etherton Special there as they move down through the intersection. His younger brother Raymond now currently back at third place. He's lost one position. Chuck Barnes up to fourth. Tom Winters goes at fifth. Rick Hine now of Hillview, Kentucky, a police officer for the city of Louisville now. Rick Hine currently runs at the number 6 spot. Going seventh, it's Larry Holbert of Okolona, Kentucky. Jeffersonville, Indiana's Bill Raleigh Jr. goes at 8th. And then Jeff Roberts running at 9th. Danny Blackwell racing with Dennis Knoll down through the intersection. Blackwell will take the number 10 spot. As the field now runs single file down through the intersection, 15 laps completed and 10 to go here at Louisville Motor Speedway.
Danny Blackwell leading right now, as you said, in that number X2. We've got a little fender bender over here outside of turn number 2. Not sure which car that is.
Okay, that was Charlie Hartz in the X8 along with the number 38 of Dennis Knoll. It looks as though both cars are going to get right back into the contest and perhaps remain on the lead lap. Greg Witt in the X79 getting close at the intersection with Buck Skaggs. Skaggs continues to lead. He'll wheel his machine over to turn number 4. Coming up behind Charlie Hartz and Dennis Knoll, who may go a lap down here. Greg Witt slowing at the intersection for Bobby Johnson, our second place running automobile. 17 laps complete here tonight at Louisville Motor Speedway. Buck Skaggs the leader. Bobby Johnson currently running at second. Raymond Johnson goes third. And now Chuck Barnes receives a challenge now from Tom Winters as those machines move down into turns 3 and 4. Winters now looking along the inside of Chuck Barnes, deciding he better stay in line there as they move back into turns 1 and 2. 18 laps now complete. Buck Skaggs now moving in on some lap traffic. That's Charlie Hartz. It has slowed his momentum down a little bit and actually let Bobby Johnson close in on him as they move over to turn number 4. And down through the intersection, Skaggs remains as the leader. Bobby Johnson about 2 car lengths behind as they move into turns 1 and 2. And now smoke being shown from Bobby Johnson's machine, which may indicate to us that all is not well under the hood of the 00. Again, they move down through the intersection. Raymond Johnson has fallen off his pace. He's still currently at third place, but nearly a half a straightaway behind the leaders, Dean, as they work down through the intersection. They collect lap number 20.
Yeah, lap number 20 down, 5 to go in this event. Of course, our thanks again to Collins Chevrolet and Busch Beer, sponsors of the feature race, live from Louisville Motor Speedway here on 62 WTMT. Right now, Buck Skaggs still out in front. Bobby Johnson running second. Still some smoke coming from out underneath his car. Not quite as bad as it could be, though.
Dean, I believe that just might be tire smoke as we see it when he goes through the turns there. And, of course, the tires have an opportunity to break loose after going so fast there on the straightaways. They go around the turns, and you can see some tire smoke from them. But it's still Buck Skaggs. He hasn't decidedly wrapped this thing up now with less than 4 to go because he's still only about 2 to 3 car lengths ahead, but he's enjoying the biggest lead he's had thus far tonight as he puts Lester Sattel in the number X26 1 lap down. The field moves back into turns 1 and 2 now with 22 laps completed, and Bobby Johnson having some problems getting around Lester Sattel. This has let Buck Skaggs pull away still a little more, and it's every bit of about 6 or 7 car length advantage now.
Of course, tire smoke, as you said, going into the turns, that's one of the things about figure 8 racing. When you're going into the turns, you got to keep those RPMs up on those cars. In fact, a lot of people call that dirt tracking, if you will, because they do that in dirt tracking as well, keeping the RPMs high when going through the turns.
Well, the figure 8 division cars are maybe one of the most unusual kinds of stock cars here at Louisville Motor Speedway, in such that they not only turn left, they turn right as well. And the setup on those machines are completely different than any of the other 5 racing divisions that we have here at the track. Buck Skaggs, the leader at the intersection. It's about a 1-second interval between first and second place. He'll take the white flag now and wheel off into turns 1 and 2. The Colonial Gardens sponsored Chevrolet Monte Carlo, a fine driver from Fairdale, Kentucky. A wrecker driver. He owns his own wrecker service here in Fairdale. Buck Skaggs, a second-generation driver, scooting out of turn number 4. Coming to the intersection and takes the checkered flag. Buck Skaggs the winner. Across the line at second, it's the number 00 of Bobby Johnson. His younger brother, Raymond, finishes up at third. And then at fourth, it was Chuck Barnes. And then perhaps across the line, officially now the number 14 of Larry Holbert out of Okolona, Kentucky. So, Dean, I tell you what, a fantastic feature event here tonight for the AutoWorks Figure 8 division. We'll have a second feature coming up a little bit later on. However, this, I believe, is what we really anticipated for the broadcast tonight.
No doubt about it. No disappointment whatsoever in this race. So I'll tell you what, we'll be back to have some closing comments right after these commercial messages on WTMT.
There he is, race fans, driving the Colonial Gardens Racing Chevrolet Monte Carlo from nearby Fairdale, Kentucky. Let's hear it for him, Buck Skaggs. Just about set to go now in our second feature event with the AutoWorks Figure 8 division as the field rolls over to turn number 4. The X55 of Jack Mann pacing the field. Also in the lineup, the number X49 of Roy Smith, Tony Conway in the X54 as they move down through the intersection and back into turns 1 and 2. The green flag is out on our second 25-lap feature event for the AutoWorks Figure 8 division. Jim Berry in the X51 currently goes at 4th. The 555 in there as well. Bruce Raymonds, and that's the top 5 machines as they move into turns 3 and 4. Trouble up in turn number 3 as 2 cars collide. It's the X52 getting together with the another number 6 there, and that's Danny Skaggs. Once again, Danny Skaggs' machine sitting up against the outside retaining wall up in turn number 3.
All right, back here at Louisville Motor Speedway to say goodnight to you. We are underway with the Figure 8 feature right now. And remind you that next Saturday night will be our next feature.
And again, the number X52 spinning over in the number 1 area of the speedway.
Also during the month of April, look for the Winston Martin Landscape.
As they move over to turn number 4 now, the X54 of Tony Conway leads the field. Jack Mann in the X55 running at second. Jim Berry goes at third. At fourth now, Richard Bloyd, and then Roy Smith in the X number 49 moving into turns 1 and 2. One car in trouble at the intersection. Jack Manns avoids him as well as Jim Berry.
Thanks once again to Collins Chevrolet Geo at 7th and Broadway, more than you'd expect, and Busch Beer, the official beer of NASCAR. That's going to do it for this.
As lap number 4 is now complete. Tony Conway in the X54 scooting over to turn number 2 and down through the intersection. The X69 sitting there stalled. It looks like he's got his machine back underway, Charlie Hall. Tony Conway continuing the lead in his Craig and Moore cars racing Chevy Monte Carlo. The X55 of Jack Mann runs at second. Going third, it's a real bottleneck at the intersection, but it's the X48 now of Richard Bloyd. It looks like he has the better track position as he takes the field over to turn number 2. They're down through the intersection and back into turns 3 and 4. Jim Berry currently shown on the leaderboard at position number 4. As the caution flag comes out, it looks like the yellow flag is out, and it's for Danny Skaggs in car number X6, who's parked up against the outside retaining wall up in turn number 3. And the number 89 also stalled on the back straightaway, although he's kind of out of harm's way. Rusty Kelly out of Brandenburg, Kentucky, his machine pulled off on the sideline. So we're under caution here at Louisville Motor Speedway after 6 laps of competition in the AutoWorks Figure 8 second feature event of the night.
We'll do some more
Roman candle.
Yeah, I need to wait on this Figure 8 feature. Finish it.
Field moves out of turn number 2, set for the green flag here tonight in our second AutoWorks Figure 8 division feature event. Our thanks going out to AutoWorks with 5 convenient locations right here in Louisville, in the Louisville area to serve you.
We'll probably sneak something up.
Jack Mann in the number X55. Tony Conway in the X54 will double stack that front row. Richard Butterball Bloyd pulls up alongside Tony Conway. Drops back in line. They're set to go here. Mellow yellow.
You want bites? Mellow yellow?
I can't eat anything.
Okay.
Got to talk.
Going down there and grab y'all. Concentration.
Yeah, no yellow.
Set to go now, and the field moves out of turn number 4. Tony Conway leads them down. The green flag is out, and we're racing. Into turns 1 and 2, Jack Mann scoots way up the 12-degree banking, and it looks as though he's about ready to lose the second place position to Richard Bloyd as they move down through the intersection. Conway out front, Richard Bloyd challenging Mann for the number 2 spot. Buddy Vertrees on the inside of Mann. Mann goes for a spin up in the 4-turn area. Let's hope no one else collects him there, but I tell you what, that's really a bottleneck in that area. It looks as though everyone clears as they move down through the intersection. Let's reset the field for you now. It's Tony Conway in the X54. The 48 now of Richard Bloyd along the inside. Buddy Vertrees goes all the way topside as they come out of turn number 4 and down through the intersection. Back into turns 1 and 2 now, completing lap number 9. And a bunch of race cars come through that intersection there, nearly collecting the X69 there of Charlie Hall. The X24 of Eddie Howlett, his car stalled just before the intersection. And it looks as though, yes, someone will collect him there. Roy Smith and one car up against the outside retaining wall here on the front straightaway. Steam coming from underneath the hood of that. Charlie Hall and the X69 also involved there. Eddie Howlett's car sitting there stalled at the intersection, and it brings out the caution flag. And man, oh man, Buddy Vertrees in the X49 of Roy Smith nearly collided at the intersection. They're back under caution here at Louisville Motor Speedway after Eddie Howlett's machine was collected just before the intersection. And then it looks as though we've got one other car up against the outside retaining wall here on the front straightaway. We're under caution again here at Louisville Motor Speedway. It was Harold Murphy who climbs dejectedly from his automobile and begins that long walk back towards the pit area. Over to turn number 2 and down through the intersection. New leader, and it's Richard Bloyd moving into turns 3 and 4. The X54 Tony Conway runs at second. 41 Buddy Vertrees goes third. John Basham at fourth, and Ricky Fraze rounds out the top 5 as they go single file now into turns 1 and 2. Over to turn number 2 now. And it's the number 48 of Richard Bloyd continuing the lead. Conway, then Vertrees, Basham, and Fraze. Roger Vincent currently goes at 6th. Going 7th now is the 51 of Jim Berry and Calvin Crane doing some racing together as they come out of turn number 4. Down through the intersection, the field's back into turns 1 and 2. Keep your eyes on that first group of automobiles, ladies and gentlemen, because anything can happen. Buddy Vertrees now scoots to the outside of Tony Conway. Nearly pulls up side by side as the front 6 automobiles now work out of turn number 4 and down through the intersection. It's Richard Bloyd, though, who remains as the leader after 15 laps of competition and 10 to go. The Jack Bandbuilder Racing Chevrolet, J-Town Auto Parts and Machines sponsored Chevrolet Monte Carlo continues to show the way here into turns 3 and 4. Buddy Vertrees now knocking on the back door in his Napa Auto Parts Motor Parts Center number 2. Bachman Chevrolet sponsored Chevy Impala. Out of turn number 2 and down through the intersection. Buddy Vertrees right on the mark now, and he'll pull up along the inside of Richard Bloyd. They are nearly side by side for the lead as the field moves over to turn 4. Coming around to complete lap number 17 now. Richard Bloyd busts them loose coming out of turn 4, lights up the tires and spins her around, and everyone gets around him quite successfully, but it's Buddy Vertrees, and we'll call it 8 car lengths at the intersection. Tony Conway in the X54 runs at second. John Basham goes third.